What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Rock and Roll True Stories. Before we get started with today's video, I want to let you guys know that I appeared on the Confessiona podcast. They had reached out to me and said they were big fans of my channel and they wanted to do an interview with me on their podcast. So I recorded it last weekend and it went up live now. So if you guys want to check it out, I've put the link down below. The whole topic was about going DIY or do it yourself. So I talked about kind of like some behind the scenes stuff of Rock and Roll True Stories, how I came up with the idea to actually do the channel, and sort of what the creative process is like as well. So go check that out. I want to thank the people from the Confessional podcast. It was really fun talking to them, and yeah, hopefully I do more podcasts in the future. And today I want to talk about the recent interview Duff McKagan gave, where he talked about original guitarist Izzy Stradlin not being involved in the Not in This Lifetime tour, and he said some surprising things. So he gave an interview to Classic Rock Magazine, and he offered some more information on what happened with Izzy. Now keep in mind, being a huge Guns N' Roses fan, I don't believe half of what he's saying. This is also the same guy who said that he came up with the Duff beer for The Simpsons. He also claimed he's one of the last guys to see Philip Seymour Hoffman and Kurt Cobain alive. And there's been people who come out and like disputed those stories. And then, when I had my other Guns N' Roses channel, I interviewed a lot of people, some of which knew the whole Izzy stuff going on with the reunion and is contrary to what Duff says. So he said Izzy and I had done a lot together in all the years in between, but this tour I just don't think he ever wanted to do, referring to the Not in This Lifetime tour. We tried to make it work, but it just didn't. And in a situation like this, you're really in it, man. You either get on it or you don't, because the train's moving forward. The good thing is Slash really likes playing like with Richard Fortus, who's been with Guns N' Roses since 2002, and Slash is somewhat picky about that kind of stuff. They get on great as far as two guitar player relationships go. Duff would continue by saying, to be honest, I haven't taken a lot of time to get back on the Izzy thing because we just move forward and things are so good. And as I found out many times in my life, things are supposed to happen as they happen. So last year, Izzy gave, I think, his first official interview since like the reunion tour, and he said the fact that he's not involved in the tour deal has to do with the fact that he was unable to reach a happy medium or happy middle ground through the negotiation process. And then a couple of years ago, when the reunion started, he just came out and said they didn't want to split the loot equally, as he put it on Twitter. And then Axl and Duff gave an interview to Globo TV, which was a Brazilian TV station, back in 2016, and they said that they weren't optimistic about Stradlin rejoining his former bandmates, with Axl saying, I just don't really know what to say about Izzy. It's like you could have a conversation and think it's one way, and then the next day it's another way. And I'm not trying to take any shots at Izzy, it's just, his kind of thing, whatever that is. So the reclusive guitarist did post a new message on Twitter. He generally doesn't tweet a ton, but if you guys ever follow Izzy on Twitter, it's kind of strange. He deletes all of his old tweets every time he puts something new up, and he just wished some people happy holidays. But something he did last Christmas or the year before was that he would post some of his favorite songs, during the holidays. But he hasn't done that yet this year. But there's still some time. But I have to say, as someone who's seen the reunion tour 3 times, I really wish Izzy was back with the band, because I never got to see him play with the band back in the day because I was way too young. But yeah, to me, Izzy's probably the most important member of Guns N' Roses. If you were to ask me like who my favorite member, who the most underrated or important member is of the band, to me it's definitely Izzy. And I'd like to know from you guys, did you guys ever listen to the Juju Hounds or any of his solo records he put out after he left Guns N' Roses? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, go check out that interview I did with the Confessional podcast. The link is down below. And I hope you guys are having a great holidays, and we'll be seeing you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern with another Rock and Roll True Story. Take care.